Hello and welcome back to my craft room. It's very, very chilly here in my part of the UK today. I am tucked up here, cosy in my craft room, and about to start a project I've been really looking forward to. This is the Makers January subscription box. Steffi and her team have sent me this box to try out. I also have a subscription, the Makers Flock subscription. The Makers are based in the UK. They are felting specialists. They specialise in all things to do with felting. Really lovely materials to use, really lovely team to deal with. They're just lovely to communicate with. I love their ethics. I love how eco-friendly they are. I love the Steffi's designs, because all of the projects are designed by Steffi herself. They're all inspired by nature. It's just, very much, I just love everything about the company, I think you can tell. So I made, you might be able to see in the background, the first Makers box. If you look in the background, just there, just there. That's my blue whale. That was my first felting project with them. And then I made, just above my finger there, that's my my little Archie, my little cat for the Cats Protection charity felt along, which Steffi designed and put the kits together and everything. We had a lot of fun with that, and they raised, it was something like £35,000 for the charity. Incredible. Anyway, they do a monthly subscription box, the main Makers box, and that is to make a fairly, that's quite large. I mean, that whale is about 30 centimetres long. I believe this owl is going to be 30 or 40 centimetres long, something like that. So it'll be usually a 3D project like that, but apparently sometimes it's a 2D project. All kinds of different things. Everything you need is in the box, and if you subscribe your first box, you get one of their eco-friendly compostable felting mats in there and a selection of needles. So you've got everything you need. The box, I think you can buy a one-off box. It's something like £30, but if you buy a subscription, it comes down in price to, I think it's £20 plus the postage. They do post all over the world, but obviously it'll cost more. But it's all detailed on the website, or we'll leave a link to the website. I've enjoyed everything I've had from them so far. So they're sending me the monthly Makers Flock box as well. I'm doing videos about that separately, but just briefly, it's just a little kind of like a taster box. You get some samples and things in it. You get tutorials and a private Facebook group, and think that are only available to Makers Flock members, and you get different discounts on a different range of products every month, all kinds of benefits like that. But I've shown that separately, so I won't go on about that too much. Today I'm going to be looking at this. This is the main monthly Makers box. And one of the great things about this is that my stepdaughter, it's her birthday towards the end of the month, and she loves owls, so if this goes okay, she might be getting this as a little extra birthday present. There's a lot in this box. Let me show you. Have I told you everything I need to tell you? I will link to the website. It's all on there anyway. If you've got any questions, just give me a shout. I'll do my best to answer. I'll point you in the right direction. I'm quite new to felting. I've done a bit here and there over the years, but I was so delighted with how I got on with that well. The products are so lovely to use. Better quality products definitely make it more enjoyable, because you just get the results that you want, and it's just easier. I have had and enjoyed the kind of cheaper kits that you get in Hobbycraft and stuff in the past, but this is just like so much nicer to use, so much nicer to do. You get better results and faster as well, and Steffi's instructions are brilliant as well. Lots and lots of photos. I'll show you in a minute. So let me show you what was in the box. I don't know how it ever went into the box. I don't know how they ever got all this in the box now. We've got all of this. So obviously the instructions, and there was also some other printed matter in there as well. This is a huge bag of core wool, which will make up the kind of main shape of the owl on the inside, and then this selection of wools here. So I'm starting to learn all these different terms. So here you've got tops and bats. So the tops are when the wools are all kind of neatly, all the fibres are lying neatly in one direction like that. And you tend to use them more for kind of decoration on the top, like a top coat. And then there are bats, which are these, but you can see the fibres are going in all different directions, and they felt up quicker. Let's take these out of the bag for a minute. I love that their packaging is all, yes, these are plastic bags, but they're resealable plastic bags that I can use to actually store my wool in. They're not single-use throwaway plastic packaging, which I hate. If I go through here, I'll be able to work out which is what. Let's see what we've got. And I'm not going to show the whole making of the owl. For a start, it would be too long of a video, and also because it's not my tutorial to share, I'll show you little snippets of what I'm doing and what I've got in the box and how it turns out. You can also, I will also leave a link to the maker's YouTube channel, because there are lots of free tutorials on there as well, and you'll be able to meet Steffi for yourself and see. I mean, she's such a lovely lady, so full of inspiration as well. Okay, so 105 grams of natural white Dutch Texel tops. I do need to work out what everything is. Oh, there's two different things in here, look. Aha, that's what confused me. Okay, this is tops, and you can see that this is tops because you've got all these fibres smoothly lying in one direction. So that is 105 grams of natural white Dutch Texel tops. Okay, I'm with you now. 50 grams of basic core wool bats. Basic. So that's this. That'll be for making the main shape with. 70 grams of honey caracal wool bats. Now, either of those could be described as honey, couldn't they? Okay, I'm going to leave that one for a minute. We'll do it by a process of elimination. 12 grams. It's amazing. 12 grams doesn't sound much, but it's quite a large amount, isn't it? Dark brown Portuguese merino wool bats. 10 grams beige mountain sheep wool bats. This must be the 70 grams of honey caracal wool bats, because it's the only other piece big enough, so that must be that. That's the honey caracal wool bats. Caracal. Okay, 10 grams of beige mountain sheep wool bats. That must be that. 10 grams of natural white AM merino wool bats. Yes. 5 grams of dark brown wool tops. That must be that. Wisp of golden orange. I love that even this tiny little wisp is included. 1 gram of medium brown wool tops. That must be that. 2 grams of brown black wool tops. That looks more like bats than tops to me. Oh no, it's that 2. Yes, it is bats. 2 grams of brown black. Yes, it is bats. Okay, everything identified. And then for the extras there, we've got 5 grams of light beige sea cell top. Beautiful. This, I don't know how well the camera will show it, but it's got a lovely luster to it and it feels lovely. 2 eyes, 1 black stub wire, 6 white extra stiff pipe cleaners, really nice quality pipe cleaners actually, and 1 green paper covered wire. Okay. Tools, which I've already got because I had in the first subscription box. Need a coarse, a medium and a fine, a felting mat, multi-needle tool, I've got all that. Also need glue, wire cutter, scissors, sellotape or similar. Other than things like glue and stuff that you've already got, everything you need is here. As I say, if you're a subscriber, they put the felting mat and the set of needles in with the first box. So this is the eco-friendly felting mat that they put in your first subscription box. It comes as like 2 and you put them together and they kind of felt themselves together as you use them, and then when you're done with it, the whole thing can just go in your compost heap. So brilliant. And you also get this set of needles with your first kit as well. And then I've got this multi-needle thing anyway. These are quite good. I should have left that locked. If you leave it locked, you can't accidentally prick yourself with it, but when you unlock it, you can see this is retractable, so you can stab away, and in effect you're using 4 or 5 needles at the same time. 5. So everything is here, and then you can see, if I just give you a quick look, you can see how well she tells you how to split the wool into parts first, so you've got the right amount for each piece, and step by step with loads and loads of photos showing you. She thinks of everything. I have rarely come across such well thought out instructions as you get in these. So many really nice clear photos, and there's always video tutorials to back everything up as well, so all the techniques and things you'll be able to look at on video. I'll bring this down a little bit. I'll put this in the description box anyway, but people can't always find a description box, so there's their YouTube channel. So basically you want to look for The Makers UK. The Makers has got a double S. As I say, I will just film little clips of this as I go along. It's not mine to share the whole tutorial. Please note this is a very large project, and using true to size templates for the whole owl is restricted to the paper size. Oh, due to the paper size, sorry. For the sake of making this project accessible to beginners, some details have been omitted or simplified. However, there are references made in the instructions should you want to add more realistic details. That's a good way of doing it. You will need to know the difference between tops and bats. I have worked that out now. Info on the back of the instructions for more details. You see, they do think of everything. Let's have a look at the templates then. So this is good. This is to help you make sure you've got the right kind of size and shape for all your main pieces. It's probably the most challenging project I've done, and I'm really excited to get stuck in. Okay, identify the core wool. You see, if you've got a problem identifying, they help you out with that as well. Largest of the natural white wools that appears a little bitty, and you can see we want to show that you do get little bits in it sometimes as well, which aren't a problem. You just pick them out if they are a problem. But I'm going to split that into 3 parts. First is for the first body shape, second for the second layer of the body, and third part for the legs. Read everything. Read the instructions before you just jump in. That's so important, because believe me, if there's a point where you stop and find yourself thinking, oh, I wonder what happens about that, I can guarantee you she'll have thought of it, and the next thing you read it'll be, oh right, yep. I've just been so impressed with these instructions. This is the bit I find the most difficult, dividing into thirds. Some people weigh it apparently, but I can't quite be bothered being that organised. Getting my body wool into a roughly oval shape. And this is the first layer of the body. Okay, I'll be back in a bit. As I say, I'm not gonna show this the whole way through. It'll be a very, very long video. Oh, I'm so looking forward to this. Okay, got that. It's about the right size. And now I've got the second bit of the body, which is going to wrap around the first bit to increase the size. And then I've got to close off one end and leave the other end fairly open. Let's do this bit by bit then. I'm just going to sort of tack it all into place roughly first. Okay, I've got this to about the right size now, so I'm rounding off one end and leaving the other end loose. So it's just until I get it. Basically, I'll make sure it fits that template as near as I can get it. Build it down a little so it holds its shape. Okay. So we're not going for it being densely packed or anything yet. We're just getting it roughly into shape. Okay. Let's have another check of the template. It's looking pretty good to me. Yeah, I think that's about right. Okay. Paper covered wire. Bend it so it makes an open rectangle. Don't know if they're quite even, but I think that'll do. Okay, so now I'm going to work on shaping the feet. Follow the instructions there to make the feet. I've kind of done my feet. I made a cock up. I managed to use both 15cm pieces instead of 115 and 110, so I ended up having to substitute in a little bit of this wire that I've got already. So 2 of his toes are green and a little bit thicker, but I'm going to sort that out later on. I'll trim them down a bit and I'll paint them all black or something. It'll be fine. I also I think I've kind of done this all right, but I think the pipe cleaners are supposed to go a little way up the leg, so I'm hoping the next step's gonna be okay. But you know, it served me right. I did exactly what I just said and didn't read the instructions through properly. So this is a good example of where, if you're not sure which wool is which, she explains it all as you go along. So you'll now work with the coarse honey-coloured wool bat, largest quantity compared to other similar coloured wool. So that would help you work it out if you hadn't already done so. So she tells you how to split it, and now I'm going to start covering with this wool. Hang on, now I've got to make sure I have got the right one. Split it in half. I put one half over there. Second half I've split into half again, so it's 2/4, that's these. Put that one away for the legs later. The feet, I'm splitting the second quarter in half again, so that's 1/8, just under 9 grams if you were going to weigh it. Then use 1/8 and tease a strand off and secure it against the lower leg near the ankle of 1 foot, okay, like we've got there. Wrap it round as tightly as you can, but make sure the wool is kept flat like a ribbon. This is another opportunity to stabilise the ankle joint. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that she does say that this joint needs to be stable, and if you feel it's not very stable, she suggests using some kind of tape to secure it. So I used some of this. I happen to have this florist tape that I get in beige. I love this stuff. You can get it in green and you get it in this kind of natural colour, and it doesn't feel sticky at all until you kind of stretch it and warm it in your hands, and then it just sticks to itself but not to everything else. It's really useful for all sorts of things. Make sure you leave the black wire end exposed, they become the toenails. See, every little detail is covered. So all of this is to be used on that 1 foot. And then I've got all of this to use on the other foot, and I've still got another quarter left for the legs later. Eagle owls have very fluffy feet, and they look a little feathery. I think that's what it means. If they look a little feathery, it's okay as long as the wool doesn't come off. I think what I'm going to do, because I didn't take my pipe cleaner up the leg a little way, I'm just going to use a little bit more of my tape to give the wool something to kind of cling onto a little bit. Right, so I'm going to carry on wrapping my feet, and I'll pop back when I'm on to the next stage. Okay, got my feet done. I'm going to have to sort the claws out later, but I think that'll work. It'll stand up at the moment. So next bit is to attach it to the body that I made earlier. I've got to kind of open this out and wrap it round this bit to start to form the shape of my owl. And this exposed bit needs to be about, was it 8 centimetres? Oh, yeah, the legs protrude by about 8 centimetres. See how it's starting to look owlish? One thing that worries me is that this is what I've got left of just that first portion of wool that I divided off for the feet. I've still got all of the wool that was supposed to be used for the second foot, so it may be that I've done something horribly wrong here, but I've ended up with loads of wool left over. It did say you'd have some left over that you could use for the legs, so it might just be that they've been super generous with the wool. Or it might be that I've done something horribly wrong. Always got to be careful when you're using these needles to keep using them straight. You should just use them sort of straight up and down, really, but just don't twist them. You need to keep them straight. So I'm going to carry on anchoring the legs into the body, and then I'm going to divide up what's left of this and start wrapping the legs, and I'll be back. Looks a bit like a chicken ready to go in the oven there, doesn't it? So I've finished adding all of the core wool to my body. I'm just gonna firm it up a little bit. I guess this is kind of what an owl would look like without all its feathers and everything. Probably skinnier than this, to be fair. Starting to look owlish. I can see an owl happening here. So magical, what this process. Just using these lovely materials and following the instructions, and this creature starts to take shape in your hands, you know. And because it's never going to be, no two are ever going to be the same, even if you do follow the instructions. Each piece is going to be completely unique, and you've got the opportunity to put your kind of spin on it, but because you are following instructions and everything is here for you, it's very relaxing. The next bit is bringing in the, I've forgotten what it's called. Natural white wool top. So the top is where you've got all those smooth fibres all lying in the same direction. I'm going to start firming up the body now by winding the wool tops around it. Okay, I'm going to stop that bit now. Start by splitting your natural white wool top long strand in half. Do it along the width rather than lengthways, and split it in half again, but this time along the length, so you'll have 2 slightly thinner strands of wool each about. Okay. Of course, this one really long strand. How do they do that? Working your way down the body, keeping it flat like ribbon. So I've got a good photo here of what I'm aiming at. It looks like a mummified owl now. Make sure you're able to cover the whole of the body from the head to the lower body as pictured. Then use your coarse felting needle and felt down a little so it stays in place. And then with the next one I'm going to go the other way up. So this time I'm going to go that way around, next time I'm going to go that way around. Okay, so I'm going to wind this around. So lovely, this wool is so lovely. Firm, wind it firmly. It does look quite tight there, reasonably tight. Okay. The great thing is about following these tutorials is that I'm learning every time. So later on I can make up my own projects and I'll be able to use what I've learned on these projects from Steffi. Okay, I'm going to carry on mummifying my owl and I'll be back in a moment. Right, so I've wrapped the body vertically as well now. I hope I've done it tightly enough. And the suggestion is that you use a multi-tool now. And she's saying it needs to be one where the needles protrude by 3 centimetres and are 0.7 of a centimetre apart. And I don't think these are 3 centimetres, but they are far enough apart. I'll see if it works. If not, there's no reason why I can't do it with a single needle. It will take longer. He's looking so cute already. Look at that. I tried this ow, that's exactly what I shouldn't have done. That's why it's got the guard on it. They're not quite long enough or coarse enough, I think. I need longer needles than this to be able to, it's not really working on here, so I had to just do it with this single needle. So I probably haven't felted it as much as I would if I had a multi-needle with long enough needles in it. That's fine. It feels reasonably firm. It's a nice shape. It's got some squish, but it's also quite firm. I'm really pleased with that. Okay, so I'm going to be going back to this stuff. Begin wrapping the white leg tightly with the wool strand, keeping it flat. Add another layer and felt the ends into the base of the body to secure the wool. Wrap the legs and start blending them into the body. Right, I'm going to wrap this around tightly here and then wind it all the way up and then blend the ends into the body and felt them in. The instructions are so good, they totally hold your hand the whole way. Right, so I'll go all the way up with this, then I'll use the white top to come all the way back down again, and then I'll blend the two in together. Alright, that makes sense, I can do this. I'll tack that a minute so it doesn't come apart. Get another piece. Okay. I am going slightly off piece here, but I think we'll be okay. Right, I'm going to carry on wrapping my legs. I'll be back in a mo. Start making a bit of an indentation for the neck now. And I can start making an indentation for the neck all the way around and then kind of flatten off where the face is going to be. And I think I'm going to have my owl sort of slightly side on and turning his head around to look at you. So this is where I've got to with my owl at the moment. I've got him so that he'll stand sort of side on and turn around to look at you, hopefully. So his wing will go here. I think I've probably recorded as much as I can for now, because this video will just go on for too long, and as I say that all the way through, it's not like a tutorial that's mine to share or anything. I'm just sort of showing you some little snippets of how you get started and how the instructions work and stuff. I just think, yet again, I've been so impressed with how well everything is thought out. The instructions just hold your hand every step of the way, but there's lots of scope for your own creativity at the same time, and the materials are just very generous and an absolute joy to use. I can't recommend these people highly enough. I'm going to take all this lot downstairs now and sit in front of the telly and do a bit more felting. Hopefully I'll be back in the morning to show you. Might be a bit over ambitious to think I'll have finished it, but I won't be far off. Okay, see you in a minute.